There are those of us, individualists, who pursue our own paths, our own beliefs, our own foibles, and what are commonly regarded as our own irrational peculiarities, with a splendid disregard, leavened only with a modicum of kindly pity, sorrow, and benign resignation, for those unfortunates who are not as we are. The hordes of faceless conformists among whom we are forced to move and have our being. Basically, we regard the unfortunate conformists as being sadly beyond redemption, and are resigned to allowing them to wallow in the troughs of their own ignorance, while we travel the meandering highways and byways of our own chosen lifestyles, oblivious to the paralleling motorways that carry the vast majority of blinkered mankind. We are commonly referred to as eccentrics. America, it has been said, has its fair share of eccentrics, and I would be among the first to agree with that sentiment. But if the truth were told, America as a country has vastly more than its fair share, and the eccentric population has sat and watched as the so-called government of the people has disavowed the freedoms of our childhood. It can easily be shown that beginning in the late 1960s, America started to become less free, less open, less tolerant, and far more inhibited than it was in the roaring 1920s, and the average citizen cowers before a level of governmental intrusion that the bootlegger generation would have seen as just cause for another civil war, and most of us, those without money, have been quickly, quietly, and illegally tided away in those institutions reserved for the imbalanced members of the human race, or simply the terminally bewildering. Beginning in the 1970s, the survivors, meaning those that escaped this fate, moved to Palo Alto, and by so migrating, found that we were surrounded by our own kind, the creative, the like, and quick-minded, or those that had a distinct lack thereof, and in this environment, we created the microwave, the pet rock, the invisible dog, tubs of green slime, the color monitor, the mouse, soap on a rope, the pocket calculator, the PC, the disk operating system, the word processor spreadsheet database, the home and office network, and the internet, among a host of other items so beloved by the unwashed. Then, about 15 years after Kissinger ended the war, we again took to our heels, followed our genetic imprinting and the siren call of the migrating buffet, and moved to Key West, which became the one particular harbor of choice for those of us that were still above ground. Having survived for more than half a century, and having seen the birth of color television, the microwave, space travel, moon landings, moonwalks of both kinds, and purple hair, is it any wonder why I chose to live off the sale of creative items on eBay in the endless sunshine and occasional category for hurricane in the new home of the eccentric at the far end of Florida, where the occasional square grouper still floats ashore with the morning tide? It didn't last. About a decade after the turning of the millennium, we saw the busted flush sink, never to be refloated, when Florida started writing laws that got the innocent arrested for applying them. Upon the doom that befalls us all is retirement, and knowing beyond doubt that the Bill of Rights are now the Bill of Available Options for rent only by the super rich, and the 47 contiguous states that make up mainland America have become individual moderate dictatorships, I joined the last dying gasp of the North American eccentric and moved to a small island deep in the Caribbean, where I have at last become a college-educated, pensioned-off, iconoclastic, eccentric, eclectic curmudgeon. Thanks for watching.